As it's Halloween season, what better game to visit than a B-movie slasher horror flick, PS4 exclusive? That's right, this is Until Dawn. This video game equivalent of a slasher film took everyone by surprise, as no one saw it coming, as it was honestly a sleeper hit that really delivered. A story-driven experience, absolutely jam-packed with jumps and scares, in which the player controls 8 young adults portrayed by a stellar cast via the means of an original butterfly effect system. You are truly in control and your choices mean everything, affecting the overall outcome and the fate of the 8 characters on Blackwood Mountain. So here today on GaVinci TV, we're going to deliver a Halloween horror special from the top 5 moments from Until Dawn. Now remember, there are spoilers ahead, jumps and scares, you've been warned. Now let's get to it. Ashley, Chris and Josh are in a good mood and decide to have a bit of fun, and here is where they start fooling around with a spirit board.
Chris, come on, this is serious.
I'm deadly serious.
Though to their amazement, things become quite serious as the board starts communicating with them, revealing to be one of Josh's fallen sisters who died the previous year.
Beth? Is that you? Oh God!
Extremely frightened, yet curious as ever, they take this a step further and ask Beth what indeed killed her twin sister, and she responds with library.
Josh, no! You wanted to use the spirit board!
Hey, calm down. It's not
I
Ash's
don't
fault.
need this right now, okay? You guys are full of it.
With Ashley and Chris now on their own, as Josh has stormed off in a temper, they agree to head to the library to see if there is in fact something there that Beth wanted them to see.
Are you okay?
I think so.
Here they find a hidden room behind the bookcase and do indeed discover a threatening letter aimed towards Hannah and Beth. Completely freaked out, the pair of them rush off to find Josh to let him know, until they hear a rustling at the door.
That was Josh!
Coming from the kitchen.
Josh!
Josh! Coming! Hold on!
Without hesitation, Chris attempts to save Ashley, and things go from bad to worse.
Josh!
Chris eventually comes around and seeks off to find Ashley and Josh, though throughout his search he finds plenty of disturbing events and scares.
What in the hell?
Chris eventually stumbles upon a shed and can hear Ashley crying and screaming from within. To find himself in a hell of a predicament, he must conduct an experiment, play the game and decide who must live and who must die.
All you have to do is choose who you will save.
Get me out! No! Right!
Okay, this is gonna be okay.
Now I'm no expert, but this key moment, I believe a certain inspiration was taken from a certain somewhere.
I want to play a game.
Chris's ultimatum ultimately earns the number 5 spot because it was built up so well. The way it started, to the jumps and scares in between, to finally ending up in the shed and the predicament he's placed in. To see the reactions of all 3 characters and Ashley and Josh pleading for their lives, with Chris really not knowing what to do and that decision being left to you. And finally, the outcome we receive in all its gory detail for this specific moment of the game was a hell of a surprise and really worked well, earning Chris's ultimatum the number 5 spot. With the Wendigo finally revealing itself as the true enemy, our young survivors flee and head down to the basement safe room.
The thing, it tore him apart. Right in front of me.
Oh, God.
Though Mike believes they're sitting ducks and needs to escape the mountain, so he heads off to find Josh, who they believe has the key to the cable car. This brings Mike back to the sanatorium, though this time equipped with some firepower. By returning here, he hopes to gain access to the mines and find Josh. All depending on how you acted and the decisions you made first time round through the sanatorium, through this segment you can gain yourself a truly valuable ally.
Hey. I was hoping I'd run into you again. Alright, pal. Come with me.
With Mike and Wolfie now watching each other's backs through the sanatorium, you find some truly disturbing scenes and a lot of information, really starting to put all the pieces together about what really happened up here on the mountain. But it doesn't take long and becomes quickly apparent that they are not alone. This segment really turns everything up to 11, the horror factor at an all-time high, running away from the Wendigo, making quick and rash decisions, proceeding through the cell block of the captive Wendigos, and the brief stealth segments. If you're not quick enough or make any wrong decisions, it's all over. And whatever you do, please barricade the doorway or you will lose Wolfie. I found out the hard way. Don't worry, I went back and redid it. He survived my second time, alright? We all make mistakes.
I'll catch you on the flip side, huh?
Whew, that's better. Now with the end in sight but locked, it seems so far away, and this brings Mike face to face, nowhere to go with the Wendigo. Luckily, Sam makes it in the nick of time and saves Mike, and together they finally finish off the Wendigo for good. Returning to the sanatorium was truly a memorable moment. From all the different scenarios, set pieces and variety, with the horror factor completely turned up to 11, it had your adrenaline pumping from start to finish, with an awesome conclusion. So overall, returning to the sanatorium earns the number 4 spot.
Got any marshmallows?
Of the entire group, the most sensible and mature appears to be Sam. She's skeptical about returning to the mountain.
Wow, graffiti all the way up here?
Has concerns and doubts towards Josh's mindset about the overall impact of this reunion towards him.
You know what? Let's just stop talking about what happened and enjoy the trip.
You know what, you're right.
She doesn't participate in the silly and childish games.
Jesus!
She stays out of arguments, not wanting to fall out with anyone.
Excuse me? Did you say something?
Oh, did you not hear me? Was your sluttiness?
And 1 year ago, she wasn't part of the horrific joke played towards Hannah, which led to the twins losing their lives. But then she goes ahead and does the most stupid thing you could possibly think of for any horror setting.
You know what? No. I've just been through enough spooking for one night, okay? I see a hot bath in my crystal ball.
I mean, now how stupid can you get? Sam may be enjoying her bath, but little does she know, she has an uninvited guest and is being watched.
Guys, what are you doing out there? Pete's sakes, my clothes, really? Whichever one of you did this is off my Christmas list, seriously?
Sam starts looking around the lodge for everyone, as she believes the guys are playing more creepy games and are trying to wind her up.
This is really getting out of hand, okay? It was all very funny, haha. Look at Sam walking around in a towel, but...
Sam finds herself locked in a room and realizes that this is no game. A voice starts speaking to her, revealing footage of herself threatening her life, and video footage of Josh and his life supposedly coming to an end, and starts counting down from 10.
Please, no!
Sam must run for her life, escaping the psycho's grasp as he's constantly at her back. Decisions must be made quickly, actions must be performed correctly or the psycho will quickly get the upper hand. There are so many different outcomes to this scenario, but only one real way to survive. It really gets the adrenaline pumping. Sam and the Psycho really takes inspiration from films like Halloween and Friday the 13th and absolutely nails it. From the overall atmosphere, intensity, and the way this whole segment was delivered, the outstanding and scary performance by the Psycho, and that fear really displayed through Sam's reactions. This was pretty much a perfect horror scene, overall earning the number 3 spot.
Mike, why don't you check out the guest cabin, the one I told you about?
Yeah, alright.
Any place without that
It's right up the trail.
Our second entry is just pure brilliance from start to finish. It's your typical slasher film scenario. Mike and Jess, two lovebirds madly in love with each other, flirting, having fun, playing pranks on one another, until things start to get a bit serious. So Mike and Jess are now a couple. They're in love with each other as well as themselves. But the key thing here to remember is that they think they are very much alone.
Did you hear that?
What also makes this segment interesting is the butterfly effect. Depending on the actions and choices you make as Mike on the way towards the cabin, determines the reception you receive from Jess. So it's entirely up to you whether you want to play as an act or be the genuine boyfriend.
Just answering is mating.
Wow, you're easy.
Yeah, got a lot of love to give.
This becomes really difficult in itself because at one stage, Jess vanishes entirely, Mike panics trying to find her, only to be revealed that she's playing a massive prank on him all along. But if you play your cards right, you will be rewarded.
Nice. Oh! Oh my God, no.
That was so good!
No!
Due to a couple of creepy instances, the pair of them really start to freak each other out, so they rush off, realising that maybe there is in fact a possibility that they're not alone, and head off to the cabin. So by this point, we 100% know that there's something outside. So as the pair of them are just about to start getting romantic, hot and kinky, they hear a noise and Jess's phone comes through the window. Naturally, Jess thinks it's the others, stalking and playing pranks on them. So she goes outside to give them a piece of her mind.
I know you're out there. The f are you trying to do?
Though what happens next, she could have never predicted. The guest cabin trail was brilliant, and it was actually a really long section, but it didn't bore as it was paced perfectly. Everything from an awesome slasher film was included, from jumps, scares, pranks, and a love dynamic which goes terribly wrong. Overall, it was genuinely creepy and scary, with a hell of a surprising conclusion, really delivering on all fronts, so it earns the number 2 spot. Until Dawn is truly a game based on the player's skills, choices, and emotions, and these factors all combined can determine the fate of each character. At this game's core, from start to finish, it's really about trying to keep everyone alive, and this is no easy task, as the game presents you with some really tough choices, challenging QTE moments, and above all else, players' emotions can get the better of them, as over time you start to understand these characters and see what they've been through. So if you're not ready or careful, no one is safe and everyone can die. So if you manage to make it to the ending moments of the game, and at this point everyone is still alive, then get ready for our number 1 entry. The Wendigos have finally made it to the lodge, and apart from Matt, Jess and Josh, who are elsewhere, everyone's lives can end in an instant. They're vile, disgusting and sick creatures that don't play well with others. Though more importantly, they're sadistic killers who track their prey through sound and movement. With the damage caused by the Wendigos, Mike sees a way out and signals to Sam, but to get there, you have to make the right decisions, giving the others the chance to escape or it's all over.
Hey!
And keep the PlayStation controller dead still. In this moment, it's that intense, you can literally cut the tension with a knife. With everything in place and continuing to remain calm, making the right decisions, allowing everyone to escape, outsmarting the Wendigos, it's time for one final stretch. Horror's End easily earns the #1 spot, because if you manage to get to this point in the game with everyone still alive, it means so much more. Every decision you've made up to this point to keep everyone alive can be undone, so absolutely everything is on the line, and if you make one mistake, the true ending is forfeited, with no saving and no chance to go back. And this was delivered perfectly, face to face with the Wendigos, especially Hannah. That level of fear, intensity, the tension was through the roof. Until Dawn demonstrates how to deliver the ultimate horror ending, showing you that no one is safe right up to the very last second, truly making this a key moment to remember, earning this our best moment from Until Dawn and our #1 spot. So that brings us to the end of this chart and the end of this countdown, and thank you very much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this Halloween horror special of Until Dawn. This game was honestly a sleeper hit, and it delivered on every front. The multiple choices, the challenges, the horror factor and the tension was delivered perfectly, and I couldn't think of a better game to deliver for this Halloween. Again, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please remember to like, share, subscribe and follow me on my social media accounts. That's Twitter, Twitch and Instagram. I try to keep up and post regularly, and if you get a chance, try to watch some of these other videos floating around me. It'd be greatly appreciated and you really might enjoy them. Again, thank you very much for watching. I couldn't be more grateful, and please stick with me as I'll be back with another video very soon. Thank you very much for watching. Da Vinci out. I'll see you next time. And happy Halloween.